From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
And welcome to OpenLine, everyone. I'm Mark Bellinger doing the show tonight. It's going to be a really interesting show because we're going to talk about real estate, Nashville real estate, and the hot real estate market here in the city of Nashville. And joining me, Christie Wilson, the CEO of Parks Real Estate here in town. You're kind of a regular around here, right?
I am a regular at the Plus.
That's right, and we have got a lot to talk about. And I'm going to start the show off, first of all, by talking about a recent trip that I made recently to Denver, Colorado, where I have some friends who are trying to get into the housing market out there and having a really difficult time. They're having to bid on homes out there, I mean, continuously. And
right.
This is up and down the Front Range up there, which includes Colorado Springs, Denver, Fort Collins. It was amazing to me, and I guess we're starting to approach that here. Is that right?
We've been there for 2 years. It has been multiple offer situation since, gosh, the end of, well, mid-2013. So it's been a very, very hot market, and it's all the markets. Greater Nashville, Murfreesboro, most of Williamson County, Mount Juliet, Sumner County, very, very hot. And the key to it is low inventory and lots of people wanting to buy right now.
Isn't it amazing? We can go back how many, what, 5 years? And how things were just so bad.
Right.
And now such a big turnaround.
It was an overnight turnaround. Honestly, in 2012, it was like somebody flipped a switch and said, okay, real estate recession over in Middle Tennessee. Now, there's still some areas, Mark, that struggle a little bit. You know, not every place is peaches and cream, but the majority of areas are very hot right now.
Now, if you have some questions tonight, we're going to be taking your phone calls here very shortly. And the phone number, which you'll see at the bottom of the screen, is 615-737-PLUS. That's 615-737-7587. We'll be glad to answer your questions. I know Christie is waiting to hear your calls. But we have a lot to talk about, including if I want to try to buy something now, what is the best way to just approach that?
Number one, start working with a good realtor. And what I mean by a good realtor is a real estate agent, well, a realtor who's really connected in the market in which you want to live. Because that realtor is going to network with other realtors and be able to call them and ask them, hey, what do you have coming on the market? Anything new that's not on MLS yet? And try to network that way. Because once it hits the MLS, if it's priced properly, it's going to go probably in the first few days.
Yeah, I don't know how many homes I see coming soon or with the sign up.
Right, and it's very important that you work with a realtor because the listing agent, who is the agent that represents the seller, they like to work with another realtor. So everybody has proper representation. And the second piece is make sure if you're not a cash buyer that you're pre-approved. You want to meet with a lender, you want to find out how much you can afford, how much you can spend, that you qualify, and that you have your letter in hand when y'all write that offer, that you're ready to go.
Because you do not want to have to wait.
No. And if it's a multiple offer situation, the seller will take the one that has a pre-approval letter or is a cash deal.
Right. You know, I'm going to go back to this whole boom again. How did this happen? I mean, did we go from like nothing, and all of a sudden, I guess people just stopped building homes, and
right.
and you couldn't give a house away. It seemed like 6 years ago.
Right. Well, we could. There was a lot of product, but not a lot of buyers. And now this go around, we've had a huge influx of people into Middle Tennessee, and because the builders had not built anything, there's a huge shortage in both new construction and existing inventory. I have several people right now who want to sell their house. They want a bigger house or they want to downsize or whatever. They're nervous to put their house on the market because they can't find what they want. So they're thinking, I don't want to be homeless, so they're waiting. So that sort of bottlenecks it a little bit too. Another piece of that, a lot of investors have gotten in the market and have bought up properties that would have gone to perhaps first-time home buyers. So now the investors have kept those as rental property. So there's a lot of factors going on. Number one, the population increase, the relatively good prices. When you look at prices around the country, you know, Nashville, even though we feel it's high, when you're in it every day, it's not relative to the rest of the country.
If you're an investor, is there a point where you start to sell this stuff off?
Maybe. You know, it depends on your object. One thing I always ask investors is, what is your objective when you're buying investment property? Is it to keep and hold and cash flow part of your retirement, or do you want to flip it, make 20 grand? You know, so I look at their objective because everybody's objectives are different. Or do you want to buy a bunch, sell them out, buy something bigger, like a commercial property or something, and do what's called a 1031 exchange, where it's a tax-deferred exchange where they can take all their profit, put it into another property and not have to pay capital gains taxes on that.
Now, in this environment, is there a better time to buy or a better time to sell?
It is always a good time to buy or sell in Middle Tennessee. Seriously, even when the market was down, we were talking a little bit about this, even if the market was down, you might be selling low, but you're buying low. And right now you're selling high, but you're also going to buy high. So the right time to sell is when it's right for your needs. Everybody's housing needs are different. It's such a personal transaction, and that's why you need someone to guide you along the way.
The reason I ask is because a lot of people that I've ran into, like if they have kids, do not want to try to move during the school year. They prefer it in the summer or late spring.
Well, you know, certain areas where it's a big school area where people definitely want that school district, spring and summer tend to be a little bit more hot. But the past 3 years, we've not seen a huge fluctuation in the time if something's selling faster or slower.
I don't know if I know the answer to this question, I think, already, but how do you get your house ready to sell? Do you have to even get your house ready to sell in this market?
You do. You do. Buyers still, all right, so we live in an instant gratification world right now. So buyers want to walk into your house and feel like I can move in and live here. So the nicer your house is, fresh paint, curb appeal, declutter, all the standard things do that. I mean, you're going to get your money back out of it within reason. You know, when I meet with a seller, I'm telling them, okay, do this, this, and this, but don't worry about doing this. This won't get you any more money. This will not only get you more money, but your house is going to be on the market for a shorter period of time.
Well, I wondered about that because a lot of folks may have an older house and they wonder probably, should I upgrade the kitchen? Should I upgrade the restroom, the bathrooms? Is that something you have to do now, or you just sell it as is?
Depends. We do market analysis both ways for our sellers. If they want to do an as-is sale, we look at the sales in the neighborhood of homes similar to them, show them what those sold for, and then show them the homes that have sold with those improvements and see if the numbers make sense. You know, if you're going to make $20,000 more by doing those things, it may be worth investing in. If you don't have a dime to do it, you can't do it, so just sell it. You know, or if you don't want to go through the hassle, it's a hassle.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, if you find something and you're going to buy, how is the process going now as far as getting financing? I mean, is everything rolling along there, or is there a backup there as well? You know, if with
Sure. You know, we have had very little trouble getting our loans to close on time. I find sometimes with the bigger banks, those are slower to close, but at Parks we have a company called Legacy Home Loans, and they always make their closing date. Okay.
Talk about in the Nashville area. Are there areas that are more affordable than others right now?
Sure.
I mean, that are still good areas.
Sure.
I don't want to get into all that, but we know we can talk about. We know the hot areas, right? What are the hot areas? Green Hills.
You know, Green Hills, 12 South, East Nashville, Sylvan Park, Belmont, all the Nations. All those are really hot, but then Brentwood's still hot. Franklin's hot. All different pockets in Franklin. Spring Hill, hot. I was down in Murfreesboro all morning. Murfreesboro is very hot. So it's, you know, and we have micro markets within each market, so each neighborhood has their own dynamics. But there's the neighborhoods that are the up-and-coming neighborhoods. So, for instance, 5 years ago, what's now called Wedgwood, Houston, is by the fairgrounds. Not really a hot neighborhood. Now it's a very hot neighborhood. It's close to town. It's more affordable than 12 South, yet it almost butts up to 12 South.
The question is, I guess, is how long does this last? This
Let
market?
me get my crystal ball.
Yeah.
I think we're on a pretty good trajectory for the next 4 to 5 years. Now, what that looks like is, will prices do this? I don't think so. I think prices will probably level out. Where there'll be a little bit of correction, maybe. You know, we may just take a little bit of a dip. I don't see anything like we did, but I think things will stabilize.
How's the downtown market here in downtown Nashville?
Incredible.
Really?
It's both residential and commercial. It is just really on fire.
All right.
And we need more condos. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Is that right?
Yeah, it would be great if there were more condos coming out of the ground, and there's such a demand for in-town condos right now. All
right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be taking phone calls. If you'd like to call in, that number is 615-737-PLUS or 737-7587. Again, we're talking about Nashville real estate. We have Christie Wilson, who's CEO of Parks Real Estate, and she can answer any question you want to ask about the market and what you're going to get into if you're about to buy or sell. We'll be right back.